New reports today that the Obama administration has officials within it that are using some very strong language about Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, calling him a coward and other things. According to The Atlantic, officials, and that is plural, said this, quote, "The thing about Bibi is he's a chicken blank. The good thing about Netanyahu is that he's scared to launch wars. The bad thing is that he won't do anything to reach an accommodation with the Palestinians or with the Sunni Arab states." So why would an article like this and quotes like that land in this magazine? Dan Gillerman is former Israeli ambassador to the UN and a Fox News contributor. Ambassador, welcome. Good to have you here this morning.
Thank you. It's good to be with you, Martha.
I should point out we have a little bit of a delay, so we ask our viewers to be patient with that, and you and I work our way through it. They called Benjamin Netanyahu Aspergery, cowardly, and the word that I mentioned before. What could possibly be the motivation for administration officials, plural, using this kind of language about the Israeli Prime Minister?
Well, Martha, first of all, I hope very much that this is not true. If indeed these quotes are true and these things were said either by the president or his administration, I think it's shameful, it's abusive, and it's very, very counterproductive. This is not the way you speak about your only ally, about the only democracy in the Middle East, especially not when the Middle East is so volatile, when we're seeing that in a very big way the foreign policy of this administration, and especially of the president, has created a situation where its allies feel they cannot rely on it and its enemies feel they can get away with murder, literally. You do not use such abusive language against your only ally, the only democracy in the region, the only one you can count on, and the only one with which the U.S. has a truly very, very special relationship.
I think many Americans might agree with you on that. Let's take a look at one other quote that I want to get your reaction to here. And this has to do with Iran and trying to end the nuclear efforts that they have in place. It says it's too late for him, meaning Prime Minister Netanyahu, to do anything. 2-3 years ago, this was a possibility, but ultimately he couldn't bring himself to pull the trigger. It says it was a combination of our pressure and his own unwillingness to do anything dramatic, and now it's too late. I think there are many Americans in this country and allies around the world who have had the same reservations, perhaps, about President Obama. And I wonder if these officials are trying to put the onus on the Prime Minister of Israel rather than the President of the United States.
Well, what it means to me is that this administration, the Obama administration, is about to strike a very bad and shameful deal with this extreme fundamentalist, cruel and cynical regime in Iran. Unfortunately, the history of this administration, whether it's bleeding from behind in Libya, hesitancy in Syria, abandoning its ally in Egypt, does not signal well. And I think that maybe they're already looking for an alibi or an explanation about the bad deal they're about to strike with Iran. But you know, the only reason that real sanctions were levied on Iran was the pressure put by Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli government and the belief that if nothing is done, we will do it. And I believe that Israel and the Prime Minister, who is there to protect the safety and security of Israelis and prevent a second Holocaust by the regime that denies the Holocaust while it's preparing the next one. If nobody else does anything about Iran, I believe Israel will still reserve the right to do something to stop that evil regime from becoming nuclear.
Well, I would point our viewers to a front-page story in the Wall Street Journal today. U.S.-Iran relations move to détente. A lot of what you are saying, Ambassador Gillerman, is echoed in this story. It's a very good piece this morning on the front page. Ambassador, thank you so much for being with us. We'll see you soon back in New York.